I'm not gonna lie to you guys, totally filmed this whole video in the first like mile of me walking, and none of it fun. So this is take 3. Supposedly I was out of storage, but hopefully we are good to go. At least I didn't notice it as far as I got the first time. But anyways. You guys. So I'm on Kings Highway Trail. As you can tell from the lava rock everywhere. And I've got my leftover Leota's pie because I couldn't eat it at lunch. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, totally filmed this whole video in the first like mile of me walking, and none of it fun. But perhaps you will get a little less ums because I won't be thinking of these things for the first time, but you know, no promises. Also, disclaimer, I do not have a stabilizer because I'm POA. So please feel free to like, subscribe, and share so that maybe your girl can get some coins to buy a stabilizer for you guys. So anyways, today I wanted to talk to you about the pros and cons of traveling solo. The first number one, which is probably the most obvious and also the most beautiful, is that you have full autonomy to do whatever it is that you want to accomplish on this journey. So that can be, what attractions do you want to see? Do you want to go here for a very niche reason, like a museum guitar? I definitely want to say guitar museum. Like my dad would want to go see that, but I wouldn't necessarily. Different things like that. Do you like more nature? Do you just want to sit on the beach with a mojito? Do you want to hike and just kill yourself on a mountain? What do you want to do? And you can eat all the types of food that you want to eat. You can stay where you want to stay. For example, I'm fine in a hostel sometimes, but you have to follow Hostel 101. Check out my video. Or I have friends that will not stay anywhere less than a 4-star hotel, and they're very bougie about it. So this gives you your full choose your own adventure whenever you're traveling alone. My second tier number one pro is that, as I've said in probably almost every video now, when you're traveling alone, there are tons of little life things that are going to find you that you're going to be able to notice that are going to be so beautiful and so little. Just like in Pixar's Soul, whenever she's like, you know, maybe I'll be a professional walker. And he goes, that's not a purpose. That's just regular old life things. So I've been trying to notice regular old life things, and a lot of those happen when you're solo traveling. So some examples of that are when I was in Split, Croatia. So the restaurant that I chose, that the hostel had actually told me about, when you go, and if you are a single traveler, they will place you at a communal table. In turn, I met one lady there. Well, I met a whole table of people. That was cool, but I met one lady from California, and then she met up later in the night with 2 other young ladies that were my age from Portland. And then we later ended up going on a day trip, and I kept up with all of them. I follow them all on Instagram, and we'll talk occasionally. And so things like that. So that wouldn't have happened otherwise. Also, sweet people watching moments. Like when you're at the train station, if you're on the train and you're talking to your party, then you're not going to notice a bunch of little beautiful things that are happening around you. And then today, when I was on my whale watching tour, this man came up to me and was like, hey, I actually got a picture of you in the whale. Do you want it? I was like, yeah. And that may not have happened. Side note, it totally got in his way, and he told me that. But, you know, we still got the picture, so follow me on Instagram. I would also say that another pro is that you become very independent. You really have to. So, you know, when you're with other people and something goes wrong, which stuff always goes wrong when you travel. Let's get it straight. And the best adventures, I was just listening to a podcast that was called, like the name of that episode was something about how the best adventures happen when things go wrong. And that's so true. But in the moment, it's like, oh crap. And you have to figure out how to deal with it by yourself, because you have to get out of it. You are by yourself. And there's no one around to help you. I would say some big things are navigation. For example, like when I went to Europe by myself, I'm from Texas, so we don't have any sort of train system or really even a good public transportation system. So I'm just used to getting in my car and going. I had no idea how train schedules worked, how platforms work. How did I know what train the platform was going to be at? When it was going to leave, how long it was going to stay there, what cart do I enter, how do I buy a ticket, first of all, things like that. But when I was alone, guess what? You got to figure it out or you're not going to get anywhere. So it was just a huge learning curve, and it was very scary. And trust me, I made many mistakes, being late and not making it on, not knowing which platform was correct, going the opposite way. But each and every time I took note and I learned for next time. And I made a couple more mistakes, but now I feel pretty confident. And then you really become a subject matter expert, really, because there's been many times where I've been with friends who have not had this experience, or my mother, and I was now ready to navigate them and able to. So next time you're solo in that situation again, you'll know how to deal with it. Then also you can help others. Another one would be that you learn how to be more independent and you know how to handle yourself better, because I think the first few times that people travel solo, especially fellow women travelers, it's just natural to be scared and anxious when you're traveling alone in the beginning, because you don't know what the area's like, right? Like you're heading into a lot of uncertainty. So it's totally normal to feel like that and feel out of place. But the more you travel by yourself, the more fearless you get, I suppose, because the more times you go into a scary situation and you come out okay, or you might learn something like, hey, next time I travel alone at night, I'm gonna have my keys sticking out and I'm gonna have an RBF and make people intimidated. Or, next time I get catcalled, I'm actually gonna say something. I'm not just gonna keep walking by. You become less fearful to try new things overall. You become less fearful to try new languages, because sometimes you've got to try what you know in order to get some help. Like asking which way to go for this, or where's the metro, or can I use your phone charger? Things like that. It's easier for you to talk to strangers and ask for help, just in general, because we like to be independent, but sometimes when things go wrong and we're being independent, we have no choice but to ask for help. You also learn how to be alone, which I'm still very much working on, as you will see in my Valentine's Day video, my first day in Maui here, which I was used to being alone, but I think I was in a relationship, so I knew in the back of my mind, even though they weren't there with me, I had someone at the end of the day, and now I don't have that. So sometimes being alone can be very scary. Plus the year of 2020, I've been alone in my studio apartment for a long time. You have lots of time to think and be alone with your thoughts, so it can be scary. So I'm still working on being alone. I think everyone can always still work on being alone. And I think that that's just helpful for when you're put in situations all of a sudden where you have to be alone. Like quarantine, for example. So yeah, you can just get used to being independent and alone, and then no crazy circumstance really scares you. And then you can also help people travel with you later. Another pro that goes kind of back to the autonomy is being on your timeline. So There's going to be some things in life that you're going to be ready to do right now, or an idea that you have to do right now. And you're going to try to round up people and be like, hey guys, I really want to do this thing. And either they're not going to be interested, or they're not going to have the budget right now, or they're going to say, you know, right now with my job, I just can't. And they're either going to say, you know, dude, I can do it in like 6 months, I promise you. Or they're just going to turn you down. And you're either going to wait that 6 months, and it's not going to be the time that you can. Maybe work will be crazy for you. Maybe something happened, your car broke down, and you don't have the budget. Most likely, they won't even get back to you because they'll never be ready. And all you did was not do what you wanted to do. And life is super freaking short. And, you know, later on, you're going to have family obligations. You're going to want to have a pet that's going to be waiting on you. You're going to want to buy a house that's going to be expensive. So while you can, just go do it. Don't wait on other people, because timing's just never going to line up like that. And you're going to end up missing out when you could not only go on the adventure that you wanted, but you're going to get a lot of little adventures on the way. And honestly, that's probably going to be my biggest push for you guys, for the reason why you should just go, because that's probably the biggest reason why I see people missing out, is because they can't get other people to do the same exact thing that they want to do. Go to the same city, go to the same museum, have the money to do the research to. Because at the end of the day, people have different priorities, and that's totally fine. But you know, some people would rather stay at home and spend money on video games and having a coffee a day and having a blinged out outfit, because that's just them and that's what's important to them. That may not be what's important to you, and so that shouldn't hold you back, because I will say it again, life is short. So just do it. So now for the cons, probably the largest con is the cost, because you're not going to have a whole bunch of people to split the cost with. So especially if you're going somewhere that's going to require a rental car, because rental cars can be very expensive if you're by yourself, because unless you just plan on sleeping in the rental car, you're also going to have to have a place to stay, along with all your other expenses that go along with, like gas and things like that. So good places to travel alone are places where they do have good public transportation, like in Europe where you have the trains and the metros. In America, places like Chicago or New York that have the subways. I was not looking up. I'm already at the end. The time is now to eat this because it's melting, but I made it to the end. And I've already seen whales in the distance. Whales, they follow me. So another con would be that whenever you're traveling with multiple people, you know, you have someone there to share that experience with in that moment. So you can say like, oh my gosh, hey, did you see that? Wow, that was crazy. We almost got lost. We helped each other get through this. We helped each other finish this pizza, make it through the subway, go see this Broadway show. But when you're traveling alone, you still get the awesomeness of doing the things and sharing it, but you'll share it differently through videos and pictures and word of mouth later. And there's value in both of those things. So, but it is just a con sometimes, because something cool happens and you just want to be like, oh yeah. And we'll tell them later. And another con would be, like I talked about, how you can level up on being fearless. Well, if you do have more than one person with you, you can feel more safe, or you can, you know, have that buddy when it's dark and you're having to walk somewhere, or when you're out hiking. You know, it's not always safe to hike by yourself or be like swimming in the ocean by yourself. So there's a safety aspect to having more than one person too. So I hope that overall I have inspired you to try a trip solo, because like I said, I think it comes with a lot of lessons that will help you in life, not just in travel. And make sure that you like, subscribe, and share, so I can furthermore prove to you why you should just go on your own timeline. But you know, hey, if buddies can come, then the more the merrier. But just don't let them hold you back. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share so your girl can get some more coins for a stabilizer. And then I can have more taking you with me on hikes where you're not nauseous.